The stories you've never heard.
Who did Suzanne Hill famously slap?
The jokes behind the jokes.
What would happen if I did a great big fart?
For the first time ever on Ash, Lachie, and Susie O'Neill.
I just peed a pants.
We go behind the laughter.
Woo! Look, is it loud in here? Sorry, I'm still talking nightclub voice.
No worries, mate. It has been a show.
It's been a show. Well, hello, listener, and welcome to the aftermath of Friday's show. Straight off the back of DJ Lazy Susan's.
Mate, Lucy Sazen.
I'm done, Look. I'm honestly done.
It's been a big night for you.
Yeah, it's honestly, it still feels like it. I've had. It has to be less than 4 hours sleep. And
yeah,
I know some people can do it. I like my sleep. I like it a
lot. I'm a big fan of sleep.
As Alicia comes in, joins us. Well, hello. It's Noel, Nick. It's Lachie. It's Alicia. Because
I may have forgotten that we do this.
I wouldn't forget you. Forgive you.
Look,
I would forgive you. That's what I'm trying to say.
We have an intense podcast schedule, and we must keep to it.
I know.
No, just kidding. We keep building. We're absolutely going to just. I love that we're in competition against the other shows. I love how they pit us against each other.
As in the Nova bosses put us against one another.
I mean, I have no issues doing 2 producers podcasts a week. Honestly, I'd rather have a daily one. But at this point, we're just going to keep giving you more and more podcasts. So to all of you, and we're looking at the numbers, thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to everything we put out, because we're going to make sure that everything is different for you.
And if you're a Nathan, Nat, and Sean, if you usually listen to Nathan, Nat, and Sean in Perth, and you're checking out other Nova podcasts, and you've stumbled across this podcast, ditch them.
Guys,
listen to this.
Guys, Sean McManus hasn't played for 15 years, and his cousin's more successful.
Whoa.
We know that we're
These are still Nova talent, guys.
No,
we support them.
They're going to hear us and delay. It's okay.
They're 2 hours behind
Also,
us.
I grew up watching Sean McManus. I love watching Sean McManus. He's one of my favourite players ever.
If you listen to Jody and Hazy, welcome to this podcast.
They're in Adelaide.
Fitzy, Whipper, Kate Ritchie. If you're in,
we're familiar with their work.
We know their work. We know their game. Jason Lauren, new
to the Nova fan.
The new parents of our young Ali McWheels.
Yes,
doing wonderful
well,
things down there.
That's true.
I really adopted her. I like that.
Any other big Nova? I mean, obviously you've got Ricky Lee, Tim and Joel. You've got Chrissy Swan.
Yeah.
Ben Liam and Bell, Smallsy. Yeah, the whole gang.
The whole suite.
If you're listening to any one of those shows,
I've lost track of what we're even talking about.
But guess what? They pale in comparison to what we've got going on here.
Too true.
Because.
How many of those shows?
We're in the middle of a media storm right now.
Yeah, how many?
A good one.
Exactly.
We're in a good one.
How many of those shows had Anthony Albanese on the show this morning? Had a massive one of their talent doing a DJ set the night before.
Had Footy Jesus, Pat Carrigan.
Exactly.
When I was making the pre-show tile, I didn't have enough room for both of them, so I had to squeeze both Pat Carrigan and the Prime Minister into the same photo.
I did see
because,
that.
Susie takes top billing.
Yes.
We're not getting rid of the Smarter Than Sue's BYD 803 tile as well, which Alicia and I rode in last night.
Really?
When we got an Uber to the Met from out the front of Nova, pulls up. Sure enough, I'm putting all the Camry gear in the back and go, this is a BYD 803.
How was it? I've not driven in one yet.
Whisper quiet, my friend.
Whisper
quiet.
It was beautiful.
It's a beautiful ride, very comfy in the back seat, and plenty of room for about 4 or 5 cameras, which we had to use last night at DJ Lazy Sulan's. Sulan, jeez.
That's where we're at.
Honestly, it's where we're at. I'd like to get a few different perspectives of the room. So, quick reset. I know we've talked about it for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Do you want to set the mood?
Please do.
Oh, this is the mix.
This
is the 12-minute mini mix.
Yep.
That was played on the show this morning.
That was played on the
like
show.
Like the Grease Mega Mix. This has been played at weddings for years and years now.
I'll play it underneath while we talk.
Just get a little bed going.
Ambiance.
So, look, it was an incredible night. And look, Lachie has said, and this is behind the scenes comms, but this is what we bring to the table. It was the best listener event that he has ever been to.
He's been to a lot of listener events.
Been to a good 20 years of listener events. And plus more than that, as when he was just a Nuffy radio listener before that.
Yeah.
So on both sides of the equation. But last night at the Met, and I don't think I've set foot in the Met for about 8 years, I reckon.
Yep.
But just because, it's just a little bit too intense for me.
Sure.
But going back in there,
you're an old man now.
Honestly, it was all coming back. I walked up to set up a camera in the VIP bar. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I'd drinks of Joel Fletcher here once back in the day when Melbourne Bounce was a big thing. This was cool. This is a cool place. But they did such an incredible job. So when when this idea came up to do like a boiler room set, which essentially, as you saw the stage and check out all our videos, there's going to be so much stuff coming through. It's like a little like cage, like a little enclosure, mini arena where people circle the DJ decks, not just up on stage.
Yep.
Everyone is in and around her. And I was kind of thinking when we came up with this, maybe it's, maybe we're just saying this as a novelty to, tag on to something that's big. They set it up exactly how it should be.
Yeah.
It was, and they did it all themselves. The venue looked amazing, and then the crowd turned up.
Yeah.
And they were drip feeding in. They're having a good time with the 360 camera. And our producer's photo is somewhere. I don't know where it is. Actually,
Is it lost to the ether?
It's lost in the ether,
the producer's photo may have made me a little bit late to put the microphones on the guys last
No.
night. It's all right because one, when Suze got on stage, her like wireless mic just went flying into the crowd when she whipped off her jacket.
Did we get that back?
Yeah, I got it back. Lachie came into my studio this morning at 6:05. He's like, "Here's that, mate, from security." I'm like, "How do you have this?"
He's got ways.
He's got ways, but Mitch has just joined us in studio as well. Mitch, sensational job. Every piece of footage you took last night was just wonderful. And in Georgie Cleland from the Curie Mails video, I love that. She took a little shots of everyone on the team, which we've got up on our story right now if you hear it. If you see it, and Mitch, it just makes Mitch is the only one that's working.
Oh, it was hard to take a bad shot last night too. Like, no matter what vantage point you have, that play, honestly, like, I think we come in off the back of things like this sometimes. We like to paint a pretty picture about how amazing it was. What I think really summed it up was the Friday morning show. The guys, their first break, and all they seemed to say was, it was really good, wasn't it? Really, like they didn't go out of their way to try and paint, like to really trying to bullshit it. I think they were just like, it was what it was.
Sometimes there's a little bit of mayo on.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of mayo on it, a lot of things, but I think the guys really were overwhelmed by Thursday night. It was really, really good. The Met did such a great job. All of you guys putting it together and organising it, it was unreal.
How did Lachie and Alicia? So Mitch and I were both holding cameras the whole time. How did you guys go? Because I think it was an interesting spot for both of you because you were half in the fan camp, half in the working camp. I'll start with you, Locke. How did you? Because you were supposed to be at a Bucks party, but you turned up.
Yeah, no,
I forgot about that.
Uninvited from the wedding. Sorry to hear, but
the Bucks party. I think they're having brunch right now, so I'll probably join them after brunch and we'll kick on into the weekend.
Boys getting brunch.
This is the wildest Bucks party.
Yeah. Anyway, it was fun. What's funny?
I'm just thinking about boys getting brunch.
Mimosas!
Do you have a problem with boys getting brunch?
No.
Yeah,
It's 2024, Alicia.
Come on, Alicia.
God forbid men have hobbies.
Or just more food.
Yeah. Anyway, no, it was pretty good. We were on the check-in station when people were arriving, and one thing I love about the Met is that as you enter in, there is a neon sign that says, good girls do bad things sometimes.
Yeah.
And the number of, white women in their 40s and 50s taking photos of that sign was truly remarkable.
Guilty, I gotta say. I was guilty.
Yeah. Well, Alicia's
I
one of
know,
them.
but I wanted a funny picture because it was right above.
It's always just a funny
Yeah.
photo.
No, ironic.
It was right above a bar that was closed for last night.
Yeah.
It wasn't open. And I said to Jessie, who was there helping me, we were
Our
on
receptionist.
the task of giving out drinks vouchers. And I said, I really want to lie on the closed down bar with that sign above me and get a stupid picture.
Oh, I
And
love
so
that.
did you
I
lie
actually
down
love
on the
that.
closed
No,
number?
I didn't end up doing it.
You looked like you were dressed like you were ready to party last night.
I was ready
When
to
you rocked
party.
up, I was like, right on,
I was
Alicia.
ready. I'm
Right on.
always ready to party.
Yeah.
I would just say that the idea of that photo is funny, but because you didn't commit to it, you also then just look like one of the many
That's true.
women who
I did just upload the generic
Yeah.
picture of the sign.
I mean, we love the Met, but I wish you had have done what I used to do at bars sometimes when I found a closed bar. I'd try and go downstairs and Jimmy open the fridge and just steal something out of it.
There was alcohol behind that bar as
Yeah,
well.
but we love the
And
Met,
they were
and we
letting us walk
didn't
around
do that.
But-
Lockie, how about you, mate? How did you go?
Yeah, no, it was fine. I think when it's something like this, I'll open it up to you guys. My brain is just constantly. I'm in work mode. My brain is like I'm
Consummate professional.
I'm here to have a little bit of fun, but for the most part, I just need to make
There is
sure.
a limit to that fun.
Yeah, I want to make sure that I'm doing the stuff that I need to do. I'm facilitating, and so I think I didn't really get out of that headspace all that much. Maybe for 10 minutes on the dance floor,
Just
and
the
then
music took you over.
Yeah, I guess so. I was there with Mitch. We're having a good time. But I just wanted to make sure that I was getting everything that needed to be done, helping you out. And then I arrived this morning. I said, hey, Nick, I sent you a bunch of videos.
You did.
And you said, I don't need them. So,
But no, I said I'm glad to have them if I do need them. But you did.
if you do need them,
You did the Lord's work, and I appreciate that. It
So,
was
no, it's good fun. It was good fun.
I can honestly say this that is the best radio event that I've ever been a part of.
Yeah.
Because how do I say this without sounding like too much of a dick?
Yeah.
It was cool. It was
Yeah.
actually cool. Radio
Yeah.
can sometimes go into keep everyone happy territory, which sometimes lends it to being a little bit naff.
Yeah.
But Mitch, I was going through like every bit of footage that I've been through, everything I saw through that screen, I went, and what I was seeing with my own eyes, going, I would want to be there.
Yeah.
I would want to be at this event. It looked amazing. It just, but it was the real deal.
Yeah. Yeah, well, everybody got 2 free drinks, which is a bonus.
I think everyone got more.
And
than
there
that.
was, right next to the bar, there was a whole heap of galactic donuts, which you could help yourself to.
Look,
there
remember
was-
when you saw the security guard just smashing
Oh, dude,
some
Did he?
that was great. Yeah. He
Good on
almost,
him.
I respect that.
He almost, you know what he did? Everyone, it was maybe like, an
It's like
hour.
a pyramid of galactic donuts.
It was an hour into the event, and I reckon the security guard's gone, I've let people have their,
Yeah.
their run. I reckon I can go and grab
My
one
turn now.
And so
100%.
he's
eyed that off a long time out.
he's done a double shoulder check. He's checked both shoulders, and he's gone, no, I reckon everyone's had the chance to get a donut. I'm going to go grab one. And he did. And it,
Well,
respect to
I
him.
mean, there was a legal reason behind having the donuts there, and that was that we were providing free drinks, and legally you have to supply food.
Way to be
I don't
boring,
know.
Alicia.
So,
Way to
you
be
know,
boring.
but we went down the
I've
fun
been there.
route and we
I've
got
been there.
donuts and there was a free, 360 photo booth that everyone was taking full advantage of.
Which was, ironically, too fun because it was stopping people from filling out the mosh pit.
It did at the start of the night, yeah.
I had to go and tell Samara, I'm like, can we just kill the photo
Yeah,
thing?
but that was before
it's
Suze came
too
on.
Fun.
Yeah.
It's
So,
actually
yeah.
too fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think she was originally planning coming out at 7:10 and just, in classic DJ fashion, we just pushed it back. You know when you have the audience.
Which genuinely wasn't planned.
You can keep them waiting and a little green room set up upstairs and
I feel like every single one of our hearts, in the breakfast team, broke a little bit when we heard that she had put off the set until 7:30 because we knew we'd have to stay for an extra half an hour.
Yeah, there was a little bit of, I'm going to have to stay in that, up a little bit later tonight.
I hadn't been able to get a drink yet, and when I'm like, it's like 5 minutes, and then I'll turn around and I actually saw Nick. You were having a beer.
oh yeah, I was hungry
And
and
I'm
I
like,
hadn't
this-
seen the donuts, so I'm like, I'm just going to eat a beer.
Yeah.
I did offer to get you a drink, Mitch, and you just joked and said, "Oh, 5."
When?
And then
When? Oh,
when I queued up.
yeah, but that was no. You offered to get Jesse, who was next to me, said, "Do you want one?" And then I
So it was an
get
afterthought.
me 5 because I didn't want to go. No, but you can get me one.
you
And
sure?
then but I still felt like I was just sort of tagging on, so I felt bad. But then when I turned around, I saw Nick having a beer, and I'm like, well. If you're filming this and it's supposed to be on in 3 minutes, and you're having a beer, and then you're like, 7:30, and I'm like, I can line up now.
Yeah, so someone handed me a double black, and they're not as strong as they used to be. I'll tell you that now. And I'm like, yeah. I'll
Well,
take
that
it.
was Samara's.
Yeah, Samara gave me that.
because I got her
I
too.
just,
and
I
she
just
didn't
crushed
want
that. I'm like,
to.
oh, it's go time. Let's
Yeah.
go. I don't know if that's being overseas in Ireland for like three weeks just
probably.
drinking straight, but I was like, this actually turned out pretty well. But the crowd was just amazing and a real mix. Like
Yeah.
we had a real. I mean, if Nova is a station that targets 18 to 45, 54.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, we hit our demos.
We
Yeah.
really. My favorite thing was seeing parents walk in
Yeah.
with their kids and
Yeah.
knowing that they would both be entertained tonight.
I love
Or that
I
last
love
night.
that we're going to get to the point where like a parent and child, again, like the name Susie O'Neil is going to come up. One's going to say the swimmer, the other's going to say the DJ.
Yes. Yeah.
Can we talk about the one big thing that happened behind the scenes
Oh,
that got me very excited personally?
I'm worried here.
sure.
And that was when we were on the door, Lachie was taking names, I was giving out drink certificates, Nick was getting footage, and a man walked in, probably in his 50s, I would say, with a book in his hand.
Oh, yes.
And I got very excited. I was like,
Sorry.
oh my God.
I don't
is
think
this-
Mitch understands what you said. A
No, no.
book?
Yeah.
Something you read?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just like, what is
That is
interesting?
so rude.
Yeah, I thought you said bug. Like you're
Yeah,
watching.
a book. A book.
So it was like and I said to Nick, I said
Jiminy
if
Cricket.
he ends up sat in a corner reading that book, we have to get that on film. Because he's like, just in case I get bored, I'll bring my book with me.
I've got to go through Jake's footage, and if I find that book, I
Yeah.
guarantee it'll be in the after movie.
If anybody who knows that gentleman is listening right now, please get in contact because I
wanna
would
know.
love to get him on the show and ask
I
him
wanna
why he
know.
brought a book.
If it was like James Joyce's Ulysses or something, and it's like his 7th read of something.
Yeah, I'd love to know what the book was. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
self-help? Is it a novel?
I will find this out. I will find this out. Communist Manifesto, tough to say. Tough to say, but no. Awesome event again. Thanks so much for everyone's involved, all our team. Like an amazing job from Mitch again. Like the graphics behind.
Oh, yes.
That was
and I know
amazing.
you will take no credit for this, but what goes into that
he's
is
disassociating
Yeah,
right now. Look at that.
I'm listening, I'm listening.
He's checked
Yeah,
out.
sure.
He's in standby mode.
No, the guys did a really good job. Poor old Xander at the Met. It's such a weird process. I mean, I know this is behind the scenes. I don't even know how.
I'll take us
where I wanna
by.
go.
This is literally the brief of this podcast.
Okay.
The moment we start doing personal stuff, Buzz gets on us.
Okay, allow me a minute then, because I think it was the last day that you were off, Nick, on your holiday, and
dark ages, we now know it as.
absolutely, the dark period, and I was out doing street stuff, and Buzz texted me and said, "Hey, when you get back, you've got to film Susie in front of a green screen for the DJ stuff." I said, "Cool." I get back, Susie's ready to go. I got back at like 9:45, and Susie's like, "What are we doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I've actually been giving no direction either, so I was hoping that someone." And Buzz walked in, he goes, "You know what to do? You just go and get the DJ stuff." And I'm like, "What?" He goes, just some shots of Susie." And I'm like, "Okay." Sure. Yeah. So I put it in front of a green screen, and it's not evenly lit because the lights that we used to use have now been screwed into the roof of Maddie Rowe's studio.
Of course
so
they
we
have.
can't
Maddie
use
Rowe
those.
He
always
demanded that.
the best.
Absolute diva.
Yep. The green screen had not we hadn't pressed it, so it was a little bit crinkled, which messes with the lighting, which messes with when you take it out in post. And anyway, I just get Susie. I'm like, just do this and turn around and do this move, and I'll boomerang it in post. But also, if you just want to like do a position and then get back to A position, B position, A position, and I'll just see what I can work with. And then I took all the green screen off it. It was otherwise then just Susie in front of a black screen, and I sent it on Samara and said, "Here, it's a bit overexposed," because I ended up having to do it with my phone because the camera pooed itself that morning. Actually, I was using it and it didn't have a card in there. Okay, go and get a card, come back. The camera doesn't want to work. Not the battery issue. Put a new battery in. Fine. Whatever. So it's a bit overexposed. That's fine. I sent it off to Samara. I said, anything else I can do, just let me know. I assume that this guy knows what he has to do, whoever it's being sent to.
Yeah.
5 days later, Samara, in a meeting the other day, says, "Oh yeah, that footage. I actually couldn't download it. It was 200 gig." And I'm like, "No, it was 2. It was 2 gig. It was 2. That was 5 days ago. Like, surely they need this. The gig is in 2 days." And mind you, then I'd made something small to put up on the screen for the studio just to show, hey, I played around with some of the colors. And then Buzz goes, "Oh, that looks really good. Can you do that to the entire video?" Okay, sure. Apply the same effect and whatever. So I've got one that's just the raw cut, one that's the colored corrected one. Good. Samara's like, "Send that on to the guy." I send it on to him and get no reply back.
Which is always a worry, right? If you
maybe it didn't send to him. Right?
You're sending something to a client, you're sending something to any other party that they need it, and there's no acknowledgement that they've received it. Even you're using WeTransfer, which gives you a confirmation to let you know when they've downloaded it. And
which is quite exactly. And I didn't get a download notification. Didn't get. Obviously that it had sent, but I don't know. I then looked at the email and it was at whatever.co, and I'm like, was that supposed to be .com?
Oh, no.
Was it supposed to be .com.au? Did I only copy half the sent? I don't know what I've done wrong. This is the day, mind you. We're heading out there at 11 a.m. the day of the gig.
Yeah.
And I said to Samara, "Is it a concern that I haven't heard from Xander? Is he someone that usually gets back?" She says, "Well, he's going to be there anyway." So I run into him. He's cool. He's obviously experienced. He can get stuff done.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, man, what's going on with the thing?" I'm like, "Mate, I'm so sorry. I sent it to you. I didn't know. What have I... Do you know what you're supposed to do with this?" And he's like, "Yeah, we'll just chuck out whatever you've sent me." And I'm like, No. It's raw. It hasn't been edited. Hasn't been cut. I've just color corrected. But it's a lot of Susie, like, without audio, just mouthing things to me and then walking off screen. And I'm like, okay, great.
Things like, hurry the
That's okay. So we'll get home. I'll get back to the office at like 1 o'clock and I'll just start cutting some stuff up, which I did for like an hour and a half. Go home, pick up the kids, go back home, sitting there next to my wife who I haven't seen in days. And I'm just like, I'll just be a sec, Dale.
Yeah.
Edit until like 4:15. Render it all out. I send it via WeTransfer.
This is like 2 hours before.
This is 4:30.
Yeah.
Gates are doors open at 6.
Oh my
6:30.
God.
Doors open at 6:30. I've sent it to him at 4:30, and I go, "Oh, good. Close the computer. Okay, good. Go and have a shower. Get dressed. On the way to the gig. It's like a half-hour drive in normally. It's probably 45 minutes
traffic.
that time of night. I'm halfway in. We're looking at 5:30, 5:40, maybe 5:40. and I realised I didn't send it to Xander. I sent it to myself so that then I could guarantee that it's sent, and I was going to forward on the link to Xander.
Been there.
I'm like, oh,
been there.
and on my own car, I'm like, no, no. And I pull out my phone, and I'm driving, and I just pulled it out, and I just hit open email, forward, Xander, and I'm like, okay, it's done. He won't be able to get it done, but it's, oh, jeez, oh, what have you done? No, I don't care. What they had on the screen this morning, that was great.
Yeah.
It was a logo with like an electronic wave. I don't care. And then I show up, and I see him walking past me a bunch of times. I don't know whether he recognized me in the dark.
Circling you.
Or he had stuff to do, and I'm like, that or he's pissed. And eventually he comes up and said, man, I'm so... You know what? I understand that you didn't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. It's fine. He goes, bro, we got it done. Don't worry about it. I forwarded on my audio, my visual guy over there. Mate, he's a genius. You think you're the person for like artists and DJs and musicians, the person that has sent this on to us the latest?
So I'm so sorry, Mitch. Something's happened over the other side of the... Is everything okay over there?
We'll get to that in a minute.
Sure.
Carry on, Mitch.
Okay.
While you've been talking, something between Nick and Alicia's going down.
And I think, mind you, this was when people were already walking in because it was busy at that time.
Yeah.
So we're looking at 6:15? I want to say maybe 6:15, 6:30 or something. People already in there moving around. So we're like at that stage, what we thought, half an hour away from Susie being on before I actually confirmed with him that he'd received the files. And they went above and beyond what I'd sent them and like overlaid it differently and doubled it,
And it
mirrored
looked
it,
incredible.
different colors
It
and
did
stuff.
look
It was in
incredible.
different sequences and it looked the shit.
It was
so
good. Every time I looked up, I'm like, you and I we're a bit like ships in the night in the day yesterday.
Yeah.
You and I share a sort of enclosure, which is just a zoo at this point.
I do want to get some like actual old school barn
No,
doors.
I want those saloon doors. Absolutely, I want saloon doors.
Yeah.
But I'd keep looking over at you, and you and I were both in like alone zone mode yesterday. We were both just heads down, not really wanting to talk to each other because we both. It was just it's digital. Everything Mitch just talked about just then. We have a crossover in our world of what we do, but on the Venn diagram, those circles didn't intersect. Because I don't know what the hell he was talking about there, and I don't know how to do any of that.
Sure.
That's how big our world is.
Yeah.
And I could just see his head down. I knew what he was working on. And at one point, I think I said, so, Mitch, I'm going to have this camera for... It's okay. You're good. You're good. You're good.
Do you know what I love about... and I recognize that we're now, 22 minutes into this podcast.
Who cares?
And if
I love
you...
it.
If
This
you,
is our debrief.
No, I know.
It's our first time to catch up since the photo booth last night. This is our first catch up.
Yeah.
This is true. And I guess if you weren't involved last night and you're listening to this and you're going, will they stop talking about this? Maybe not. But
Lachie, this is why on like Batman and Lord of the Rings they have like special commentary. This is the special commentary.
That's true. But I will
We'll come
say
up in a trivia night one day.
I love radio. It's one of my favorite. It's why I work in the industry. But what I love about radio is that there is a nature to it that is just kind of on the fly, and you have to be, thinking,
And you have to be okay with it.
and you have to be okay with just rolling with the punches. And what I witnessed last night, like it wasn't like we were unplanned at all. But I love just looking across the room and seeing all these different Nova people doing their own little job and doing it, really, really well. I love watching you, Nick, like just own the film stuff. Seeing Jake, who we had filling in for you a couple of weeks ago, doing camera stuff for us as well. Mitch is filming. Alicia's there, making sure that everything is where it needs to be. Samara's working really hard. It is a really unique, and I'm grateful to work in such an awesome team to make sure that an event like last night happened. And I got to say, like, you guys did a fantastic job.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
And I know that you have lots of stuff still to do. We could be talking for another 40 minutes, and you're going to have to go back and edit videos. But
Well, look, my ADHD meds have doubled in the past 48 hours, so,
I-
so we're good, my friend.
Can I
We're
just
good.
say, I was about to bring up Nick's ADHD because that's the whole reason we just got sidetracked.
oh no.
Because Mitch, like, as interesting as it was, you were talking for a couple minutes there, which we all know that Nick can't deal with.
Oh no.
He's just standing listening to you, and his ADHD kicked in. So we got Guzman Gomez this morning.
Buzz off
Yeah.
of the Prime Minister
There's a
his
co-
half-eaten burrito.
He did.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. There's a couple of pots of some kind of sauce next to
Dulce
us.
de Leche.
Dulce de leche.
And while Mitch was talking about his very hard work, Nick just opens one of the pots, showed me the inside, and then stuck his tongue in.
I
And
regret.
then just tuned back into listening to you, Mitch.
I regret nothing. I just needed a little pick me up
And I just went, oh, there's the ADHD.
of some
Yep.
condensed milk and sugar provided by our good friends at Guzman and Gomez.
Oh dear.
And I'm back. And I was straight back. It's
It's
just
funny-
a little hit I needed.
You saying that, like, just the team and everyone,
Yeah.
everything getting done by everyone who was having to do it at like the last minute, and I'm
Yeah.
like, it just is the nature of this place, and I have to remind myself, even just outside of this little team or something, like we have our supernovas, and they drive me around when I go and do the breaks in the street, and we're only up at the Met on Thursday doing a bit of a site check, and we get back in the car at 7:54. And no, I've got to do it 8 a.m. sports read.
Yep.
And I turned to Annie and I said, "You want to?" I'm like, "Oi, Dal, you want to be back at the studio by 8?" And she's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Obviously, I'm joking." I'm like, "Well, I just like doing it in the studio." She's like, "It's in 6 minutes. There's no way we could make it back." And I'm like, "It might take us 5.5."
Yeah.
But I would like
Great
to...
Annie impression, by the way.
Yeah.
yeah, sure. I am.
Nearly as good as Ash's impression
She's
of
like,
me.
why do you do? Why do you want to do that? I'm like, I just want to do it because I'm arrogant. I want to say that I did it. Like, I would love to get back to the studio, get out of the car, go up the lift, walk through reception, and walk into my room, as I've done a couple of times. And as Maham in the news throws to me, I'm sitting down and turning my mic on, and away I go. I said, I just want to know that I can do. I've done that before. I want to just do it again.
It's badass.
It's like, I'm trying to impress myself or something. And I said, but it doesn't stress me out that, I could maybe miss it by 5 seconds, or I might not, because who cares? And I know that it can be
Oh,
done.
mate, there
So
are
that-
some content directors out there. If you don't hit that spot right on 8:02, yeah, we'll be having a talk afterwards.
I mean, Buzz might have some things to say if he ever listens to this podcast. But as he says, he never listens
Doesn't
to
listen.
it. Yeah.
No, that was.
So did you make it?
No.
Great
No.
story.
No, we are,
All
we're,
of that for nothing.
we're
Thanks,
coming,
Mitch.
we're coming down Commercial Road, and you hit that last set of lights when you're coming back via Wickham Street. And it's green, it's going to come through. I'm like, we're going to make it. And it went yellow, and I'm like, no, we're done now.
Yeah.
And then he's
okay.
like, what do you mean? It'll only be 30 seconds. I'm like, we only had 30 seconds, and
Yeah.
you don't understand how close we were going to
She'll get there one day. She'll get there one day.
Yeah, that's what I said to him. Like, drive to work with me in the morning, and you will see how closely I cut. Don't bring up Monday, guys. Don't bring
No,
up.
don't talk about Monday. Honestly, we're so far detached from the start of the week.
Yeah, and literally you said that, and I was like, what happened on Monday? I don't
Also,
even
what happens on
remember.
Monday can only come up on the Wednesday
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
We're done.
It's past jurisdiction.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely
As,
right.
soon,
statute of limitations.
as,
That's the one,
as soon as the Wednesday podcast is published, anything from earlier on in the week can't be mentioned.
Full amnesty. Absolutely. Any final debriefs? We're running big into this, but that's fine.
No, we are ready for the weekend.
Yeah,
ready to get
absolutely.
out of
We
here.
are.
I'd happily debrief something else, but maybe that's for an off podcast.
Oh, you want to do an off podcast?
Well, fortunately, there's an appetite for more podcasts.
Oh dear. No, I'd like to keep my job, so I won't say it on here.
Can I ask you a tip?
Good
I mean,
tease.
it's not podcast producer podcast sort of gear, but what's your tip tomorrow night for the A-League Grand Final? Who's the
I
tip?
think Mariners will get it done. Mm-hmm. But I mean, the last time Melbourne victory in a grand final against a team on the Central Coast of New South Wales, there was an error with VAR, and they were actually robbed. So victory could get the win.
Will the violin girl be able to play?
Oh, I don't know. I think she's a victory home girl.
Nah, it's a shame.
Yeah, I mean they might get her out, but I imagine because it's on the Central Coast, they probably won't.
Well, Mitch, our grand final Sunday as well. Broncos Titans.
Yaha.
We're back together.
Yep, finally.
Finally, it's been
Yeah.
weeks.
Nick up in the voice of God
Back in the booth. My God.
room, and I'm down on the field. That's it. Dream team.
And Alicia, I assume you'll just be sleeping.
What, over the weekend?
Yeah.
That's what I usually do. I just go into hibernation.
Oh, I love it. All right, Lachie, get us out of here, my friend. Let's all go to sleep. Not together,
Yeah,
unless.
Unless.
I mean, you brought it up.
Crack the Dulce to Leche.
if you're keen.